For now, though, let's take you to the Western Cape. A group of homeless people who were initially quarantined after exposure to COVID-19 are back on the streets of Cape Town. Now, the city of Cape Town has been accused of dumping homeless people under a bridge, but it's denied the claims. President Cyril Ramaphosa is in the Western Cape today to assess the province's response to the pandemic. That province is the COVID-19 epicenter in the country. For more on this now, I'm joined by City of Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato, joins us via our Skype line. Mayor, thanks very much for your time. Welcome to the AM Report. Perhaps as a start, I can get your reflections on why you think even homeless people themselves feel hard done by the City of Cape Town.
No, I think that is incorrect. I think we have assisted the homeless people as far as we can. We put up a very, very good show with the Strandfontein facility, although there were resistance from some portions of the local community and in particular NGOs. But overall speaking, we had massive support from religious leaders, state departments and other entities as well. And it's very sad to have closed down Strandfontein. I would have loved to continue with Strandfontein. I was of the opinion that Strandfontein is, at the time, the best facility for homeless people in South Africa. But we now made provision for them in Bellville. The Bellville Paint City site is in full operation with well over 300 homeless people at that facility. We are preparing the Culemborg site where we will also house in the region of plus minus 400 plus homeless people. And we also house homeless people at our other shelters. We are in partnership with such as the Haven Night Shelter and other night shelters across the city of Cape Town.
Yeah, well,
so definitely.
Yeah. I hear that. I think you say that you disagree that many homeless people feel hard done by from the City of Cape Town or by the City of Cape Town. Don't take my word for it. We spoke to some of them. Take a listen to this.
When we got tested on, the results came through on Saturday. The two individuals that tested positive were immediately isolated in other parts of this building, waiting for provincial transportation to Lagoon Beach Hotel, where they are currently in isolation. There's a third person whose test was inconclusive. He too went into isolation at Lagoon Beach. The rest of us have gone into self-quarantine, not isolation, and waiting the period that, where we get monitored every day. Well, we're getting monitored every 6 hours with your thermometer.
So that's one of the homeless people we spoke to, Mr. Mayor, who was essentially detailing their treatment after being moved from the Strandfontein Centre and what may have forced them to find refuge on the streets. And a big concern was the ways through which the city went about doing that. And that was also compounded by worries that the city is not effectively communicating what the plan is. Your response to that?
Well, the fact of the matter is, you must remember we had to put that package together within a very short period of time. You must remember it was 5 days and that facility was up and running. Definitely there would have been teething problems and so on, and there's some technicalities. We sort it out as we go along. But we had medical people, we had food, we had everything for the homeless people set at Strandfontein. But I agree with the gentleman. All drama started the moment we had to close the facility down and homeless people had to return where they're coming from to their area of origin. So that created problems for us. But after all, we are really busy in creating a new facility such as Culemborg. We are busy put up tents and put up containerized facilities for them at Culemborg. We hope Culemborg will be up and running by next week. And then tens and tens of homeless people can make use of Culemborg.
Yeah, and that centre, Mr. Mayor, my understanding is that centre was meant to have been ready already by the 31st of May. I mean, what caused this delay?
Well, let me say to you that everything is around the budget, it's around the procurement, it's around to procure the necessary equipment and that sort of thing. But despite the fact if the indications was that Culemborg should be up and running by 31st of May, despite that other facilities is up and running indeed. So we must not looking at Culemborg in isolation. There's other facilities where these people can go to, and there is no need and no reason for any homeless people to sit on the street.
Now, I'm sure you don't need me to explain that a lot can change within a week's time, and you're saying the site can only be ready by a week's time. What is the plan in the interim, especially insofar as tracking possible positive COVID-19 cases amongst homeless people themselves? I mean, there's no overstating the real threat that this has on public health in the province.
Well, let me say to you, what counts for homeless people counts for any other resident, even staying in homes. Fact of the matter is, any person can contract the virus, and we need to treat them evenly. They need to go for the next test, and we need to put in quarantine. Quarantine facilities up and running. What we are going to show the president. This afternoon, you heard National Minister Mkhize last week or by Monday. He was of the opinion what's happening in the Western Cape. He's very happy with that, with the show we set up. Why? We want to showcase that. And there's no need for any homeless people to roam the streets of Cape Town to say that we do not have any assistance. The assistance are there. They must come to us. We will assist them as far as we can. We assist each and every person evenly and equally.
Yeah, you've already conceded that there were teething problems in trying to safeguard against some of the homeless people actually contracting the virus itself. To what extent do you think homeless people have been failed by the city of Cape Town? You know, which aspects do you think you have dropped the ball and could have done better with the benefit of hindsight?
Look, homeless people across the country is a challenge. If you see what's happening in other provinces,
yeah, but let's speak about the city of Cape Town. I completely appreciate that.
Fact of the matter is we had Strandfontein. Fact of the matter is we're preparing Culemborg. Fact of the matter is Bellville and other facilities is up and running and in place. So we did not neglect homeless people. Any homeless person that wants to get shelter must contact our offices, and we will provide them with the necessary shelter. The shelters is available. The problem is some people want shelters where they're coming from. We cannot create in each and every ward, each and every community, pockets of shelters for homeless people. That is not advisable, unfortunately.
Yeah, but Mr. Mayor, I mean, these were your own words. You've admitted that there were challenges in trying to, I guess, move homeless people around and make sure that they're safe during the pandemic. And my very simple question is, what were some of those challenges, and how do you think they've let the homeless people down? You simply haven't answered that.
Let me say to you, you pick up in Cape Town, homeless people is coming to Cape Town every day. You have today 50 homeless people, tomorrow you have 60. And we cannot keep ahead of the fact to provide all the necessary people in need of immediate shelter. To say to them, we keep X amount of shelters available for homeless people to house them. That is not on. Our budget doesn't allow us to do something like that. At the end of the day, we try our utmost best with the resources we do have at hand. And you must also remember, many of the homeless people is coming from communities where they do have shelter, where they do have homes and families and that sort of thing. And at the end of the day, when they get onto the streets and to Cape Town, it is a case of they expect government to assist them almost immediately, and government do not all the time have all the resources immediately readily available.
Hold on, Mr. Mayor, are you suggesting that some of the homeless people are homeless by choice?
Look, but it doesn't mean that there is nothing in store for the homeless people. I think if you compare what the city are doing for homeless people versus other parts of the country, I think we are ahead of the pack, and I think we put up a very, very good show for our homeless people with all the necessary resources that is available for them. Sometimes people do not want to accept our assistance, and when they're standing in front of the TV camera, they all the necessary negative information, which is many at times not even correct.
Wow. Okay, let's try talk solutions. You mentioned a number that some of the homeless people can call. What is that number so that we can, I guess, play our part in trying to make sure that there are assistance when they need it?
Our law enforcement officers is on the streets every day. They're in contact with our law enforcement people on a day-to-day basis. And what I mean by that is that the assistance to homeless people is available on a day-to-day basis. Our shelters, we have a number of shelters around Cape Town, and all the homeless people are well aware of the existence of all the shelters. They can go and knock on the door of the shelters and they will get the assistance. And that is the agreement the city of Cape Town do have with all our shelters around Cape Town.
So there isn't a number put aside specifically for homeless people to call. That's what you're saying?
There is a number for law enforcement homeless people can call. All homeless people is well aware of the fact where they can find the necessary assistance, help in Cape Town.
All right, let me thank you for your time. Certainly appreciate it. I imagine we might touch base once again as the story continues to develop. Dan Plato is the mayor for the city of Cape Town. There you have it. Are you convinced that the city of Cape Town is doing everything they can to try and safeguard homeless people from, again, being even, I guess, more vulnerable due to the COVID-19 pandemic? Have your say at Newzroom 405.